Hey, what's good, everybody? It's me, your hero, Benjamin Banks, and you're watching Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks. And y'all already know the Great Turkey War is coming, and we're preparing for it. And joining me today is somebody that I have had the pleasure of meeting on Instagram, and now we are actually talking face to face on Who's That Cosplayer, and that is the other Keanu Reeves, the official Thirdcharm. Luke, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, man. I'm glad to be on the show.
Hey, thank you so much for joining me up here. I'm glad that you're here too. You're cosplaying as Spike. And I know that you got some bounties that you gotta get to, but before you get to
Gotta
them,
get them alongs.
hey, let's go ahead and get into this interview. But before we do that, everybody that's watching, make sure that you like this video, you subscribe to the channel, and you hit that bell button so that way you're always notified when we have new content here on Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks. And as D always says, podcast link down below in the description. Like, follow, subscribe. So let's go ahead and get into today's interview. Luke, the first question that I ask each and every guest up here on Who's That Cosplayer is, what is your origin story? Every hero or villain has one. So tell everybody who you are.
All right. Well, for starters, my name's Luke. I'm a Florida boy born and raised, and my first cosplay experience started all the way in March of 2014. I was in 8th grade, and my very first convention ever that I went to was MegaCon.
Nice.
And my dad had heard about it. He's like, hey, do you want to go to one of these things? I'm like, yeah, sure. And the very first cosplay I ever put together was Finn the Human from Adventure Time. And amazingly enough, that same day, I also have gotten to meet Jeremy Shada, who most of you may know as Finn the Human, while cosplaying as Finn the Human. And it was probably one of the best experiences, and like some key moments, such as, I was walking about and like there's these like youngsters running up to me. It's like, Finn, gotta get a picture. I was like, yeah, of course. And so that, one of those moments, and the people that you get to meet, from conventions and inside the community, is definitely why I'm here today. And I'm happy to just meet new people and try all these new different costumes and just, make someone laugh or smile or one of the above.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's a sweet origin story for your first convention, getting to meet the voice actor of Finn, and just having that moment of people saying, oh my god, I can't believe like you're Finn the Human. Like it's such an amazing feeling, and that's one of the reasons why I love cosplay, because it's like you never know what magical moment that you are creating for somebody. And especially like I love kids, because it's like kids, when they see you in character, like it's like seeing Santa Claus to them. It's just like, and it's crazy because my Ren Goku cosplay is probably like the one cosplay that kids love the most, because it's like I was telling my friend when we went to the con this past weekend. It's just like, when a little kid sees me as Ren Goku, they see an adult, and it's just like, oh my god, it's Ren Goku and all that stuff. But it's just always a cool moment. So I want to ask you, you did that was your first con, and you cosplayed as Finn. Did you think that you were going to continue going to conventions? Because sometimes people, they go that one time just to say that they had that experience, and that's that. But like, did you think that you would keep on be doing this?
For me, ever since those first moments of like getting to meet the people, and also realizing too, after I went to my second convention, which was Collective Con here in Jacksonville, that's where I realized that, like, I definitely want to keep going to these, to the point where, my dad would just drop me off and whatnot, or I'll meet up with a couple of friends of mine, and we'll just be like hanging out and, just either meeting guest stars, going to the artist alley, buying vendor stuff, getting cosplay photos done, A, B, and C. Like, I knew from that first moment, this would be like, not just like a new hobby, but like almost a lifestyle of like planning all this stuff and meeting everybody. And originally, like, cosplay was just supposed to be like a vacation from me being injured from boxing. So that kind of led to this, and kind of now where I am at today, pretty much.
Awesome. So, we can't just move along without hearing about the boxing stuff. I do want to get back into cosplay, but let's talk about that. Like, what was it that made you want to get into boxing?
Wow. The first time anybody ever asked me that, when I do mention it. So for me, as funny as it sounds, the game Punch Out got me into it.
Nice.
And,
That's awesome.
the idea of, fighting different kinds of competition and whatnot, and, something to do outside of the house. And that was just an idea that kind of bulked up. And I told my dad, hey, I want to do boxing, as a sport. And he's like, okay. He looked around. There was a gym, here in my local town, and went there for about 2 years, like even almost went into competitive. But then I had that injury, um, which the doctors told me I had to be on a month hiatus
Mhm.
because it was a sprain from a previous injury I had in a school fight from 2012. This was back in 2014 or 2013, 2014. So about 2 years exact from that day on. So
Mhm.
yeah.
Okay. Well, now I want to ask you, if you were going to box in a match, let's just say that there is, because at some conventions they have wrestling, cosplay wrestling. If
Yeah.
there was a cosplay boxing, what is one of the characters that you've cosplayed that you would take into a boxing ring?
Ooh, characters that I've cosplayed that I would
Yeah,
be in
that
the ring.
you've cosplayed. Because I mean, like you done Joseph Joestar, Casey Jones. Who's somebody that you would take into the ring?
To go per three, from slugger to defense and balance. Slugger, definitely Casey Jones. He is an absolute slugger. Just power and just trying to get the first round KO like Mike
Uh,
Tyson. Then for defense, like Ali, for example, I would say partly Johnny Cage, who
mhm.
I have cosplayed as before in 2019 or 2018, my bad. And then for balance, I will have to say Joseph, because he's more of like the thinker and like knows like the first 5 steps ahead and like pulls you in.
I'm just so weak because it's just like next year gonna try to do a right jab, and then the person does the right jab. How did he know that?
How do you know that?
Oh my god, that would be cheating. Oh my god, I honestly I love like your lineup of people that you would take into a boxing ring with. Like that's really awesome. And everybody that's watching the video, if you could, step into a boxing ring as one of the characters that you cosplay as, or even if you don't cosplay and you would want to be one of your favorite characters from a video game or anime or something, let us know in the comments what you would do. So Luke, I want to go back to the cosplay stuff,
Yeah.
and I want to ask you, what has been one of your favorite moments from going to a convention over the years?
Ooh, favorite moments. I'll probably say, depending on how you ask it or who you ask. For me, is a convention that you may or may not ever go to, and
Mhm.
then kind of growing that appreciation for that convention, almost like having that one special day of Christmas during that 3-day weekend.
Mhm.
And that convention for me personally, even to this day, I have to say Anime Festival Orlando 2019 has been one of my favorite conventions that I ever went to, and has multiple of my favorite moments. Some I can't share, some of them I can share. But for the people involved, I still talk to this day, and the amount of fun there was, and the pool parties that will be heavily missed ever since they had changed venues.
Yeah.
Those were just like, and plus that year too, I was just fresh out of high school. So I was like, prime party animal,
Yeah.
just hanging out with everybody, going to like hotel rooms, hanging out, playing Mario Kart Wii, just everything you could think of as like wholesome fun, and everything. It's just like you're never going to forget that, and
Yeah.
nor will there ever be a time or place where that could be replicated, basically. So
Yeah.
that would be one of my favorite moments.
Yeah, I feel you on that, man. I feel like when you go to conventions, like, because it's something I want to piggyback off of what you just said, like those wholesome moments, man. I went to KatsuCon this year, and
Okay.
me and one of my really good friends, we didn't go. We went to the rave, but then after the rave, we went to the fountain that's at KatsuCon, and
Okay.
we was just vibing. We was just chilling there, and honestly, like that fountain, it wasn't as crowded as it would be if it was during the day. Mind you, this
Yeah.
was like late at night, but there were a couple of people there, and like there was like one person I was talking to, one person he was talking to, and we were just talking with them until I want to say we got to the fountain at 12 a.m. and we left the fountain at 6 a.m. And all we were
Oh
doing
my
was just
God.
sitting there talking about anime and video games and movies and stuff like that. And I feel like those wholesome moments are always the really good ones, man, because it's just like you really because you can remember them. You know, you're not drunk, you're not, you know, on any drugs or anything. You're just sitting there having a good time with other good people. So I think that that's
But
awesome, and I wanted to piggyback off of your story and tell that moment. So, you know, I got to move to the JoJo stuff. You know, you mentioned Joseph Joestar, and you know, from one JoJo cosplayer to another JoJo cosplayer. I love JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. So I got to ask the JoJo questions. And the first one is, which part is your favorite part?
oh, like what's my favorite one or
Mhm.
my favorite show star?
Oh, I'm going to ask you your favorite
Oh,
Joestar next. But no, which part is your favorite between because now you got part 9 out now. So between parts 1 and 9, which part is your favorite?
ooh, man, that's like asking which favorite child, is here. Uh, if I were to go from like, ninth to first place, so far, God, what's the new part? Jojo Ma, is that ninth because it's new.
Yeah,
We don't know
JoJo.
what's really gonna
Is it
happen.
JoJo Lands?
Jojo Lands.
Yeah.
There you go. Thank you. Yeah, Jojo Lands, and then Jojo Lands, Jojo Leon. Because I've read a couple of mangas from that part.
Mhm.
It's good, but it's not like my personal favorite for me. But I know other people like it, like the 8 people in the Part 8
Oh
community.
my God. Don't do that. Don't do them like that. They will come for you. Who's that cosplayer?
A happy metalhead.
Uh, yeah, I can take on all 8. All right, all right. And then after that, God, there's so many parts and numbers to keep up. Then Golden Wind. I know a lot of people love Golden Wind. I know a lot of friends of mine that have cosplay from Golden Wind,
I feel
but
like it's overrated.
hot take. I can't get into it. Like I
Same. That's
know,
what I'm saying. It feels like it's DLC. If it's a side
yeah,
story. I
it's just like the biggest side story, and they follow Chiarno, which I know a lot of people say he's like the worst JoJo. But then there's like George Joestar, who practically JoJo technically because
yeah.
of him starting part 1 and pretty much having the world reset because he like thought this old guy was helping him, but he was
Yeah.
just grave on him. So yeah. So that being said, what will be now 8th place is Golden Wind, and then 7th place I probably would say probably Stone Ocean. Stone Ocean I absolutely loved more than Golden Wind because it felt like it was a continuation from part 5, if that
Exactly.
makes sense.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
I 100% agree with you on that.
Oh yeah, because plus Jolene was probably one of the best protagonists of the series. I'll probably say she's in my top 4, top 3, which I'll probably get into like my favorite show stars in a minute. But to kind of like cut it down, for my top 3,
Okay.
then of course Pen and Blood, I'll probably put at like 8th place, because it's you just watch the YouTube video where it's Venom Blood, but in 5 minutes, and then you've watched the whole part. That's it. So yeah, top 3 for me, just to keep it nice and simple. Diamonds Unbreakable, Battle Tendency, and Star Wars Crusaders.
Okay. All right. All right. I
So,
like top three. I like it. So which Joe star is your favorite? Just one. Which one would be your favorite?
man, that's great. I don't know because I love Jotaro. Jotaro was my very first JoJo cosplay, like
Same.
ever before I even discovered what JoJo was. I just thought, oh, cool anime guy, and like I went as him basically. Um, and then as of recent, I've been enjoying cosplaying as Joseph Joestar because he's super comfortable to wear. The wig is very well made. And plus I have the Joestar birthmark
Nice.
tattooed
Nice.
on my upper left shoulder, so it'll be more, like, oh, he's actually got the birthmark. That's really cool. I can like show off the new tattoo that I got for my birthday actually last July. So if I were to really decide, I have to go with Joseph. Joseph's my favorite.
Okay. I had a feeling that you were going to say that, but that would have just been a JoJo reference. You know what I'm saying? So now I want to know which JoJo villain is your favorite villain?
Ooh.
And it can be a major one like Cars, or it can be a minor one like I'm mad I can't remember the person's name, but the Rochambeau kid. I'm mad I can't remember his name right now.
Yeah. You mean Oingo Boingo? Or I'm probably not like
No, that's from part
person.
3. I'll look it up while you're talking. But who's your favorite villain?
Ooh, okay. I would probably do like side villain, then villain. I know it's cheating, but like still, I love all of them pretty much. Besides a few, like Alissi, who kidnaps children.
Yeah.
We can kick him for. And also, speaking of him, we would have had part 2 Joseph cameo in part 3.
I don't know why Rocky didn't make that happen. Come on, Rocky. A missed opportunity.
It really was.
Well, I mean, at least we got the next thing you're going to say is this, and then it's like the next thing is like so at least we did get that.
Still not we did. Yeah, not really, but yes. So starting with side villains, and I'll get to my villain as the grand reveal. My absolute favorite side villain is Whole Horse, because it's funny how he's named after one of my favorite music duos, Hall and Oates. Nice. Whole for Whole Horse is Hall, and then Oats because horses eat oats. That's how Araki came up with the name Whole Horse.
I never knew that, and I love Hall and Oates. I never knew that.
Yeah, I have like their other albums on vinyl, so I always play them all the time on my player and just like crank it up throughout the house. But yeah, so Whole Horse himself also being technically a JoJo because HOHO.
Yeah.
And he does the Joestar technique of running away, so that's just perfect. And then for him, he has the Emperor, which I learned earlier this year through a past partner of mine. That is my tarot card. Hopefully, I'm having the terms. That was my card, and it made sense why I liked Whole Horse so much.
That is insane.
Yeah, like who would have thunk? Who would have thunk? So that's why I absolutely love Whole Horse, and I was so happy to finally cosplay him at Holiday Matsuri 2021. I even had the Emperor himself and did like 6 spins, and like a lot of people loved how it all turned out. Have my cowboy boots on. It was flamissimo. Oh my gosh. But yeah, so Whole Horse would be my absolute favorite side villain. And as regards of my favorite main villain, which there's like 8 revealed, 9 will probably come out in a couple of pages. But I have to say my favorite villain has to be Yoshikage Kira.
Hey,
I know.
Where's my wig at? I don't know where it's at.
Where it at?
I'm just
But yeah. So Yoshikage Kira, I absolutely, love that he is a very, quiet and despicable villain. Like, sure, there's Dio, who them two are complete polar opposites.
They are.
But for Akira, being disguised as like this normal guy, and Morio kind of makes it more scarier. And plus, with the murder mystery theme for Diamonds Unbreakable, he's absolutely nails it as the villain. Plus, Killer Queen being one of the
Yeah.
more like I feel like that's up there with like Sawaldo when like you talk about JoJo memes. Like everyone talks about Killer Queen or Sheer Heart Attack and whatnot. And hopefully soon I'll probably cosplay as Kira, as normal Kira, and then his color scheme from the wig being brown and like the rest of the outfit being after John Arbuckle from the Garfield comic.
Yeah,
that's the goal of mine.
That'd be
So I'll have like a plush of Garfield as Killer Queen, and then have like one of my friends 3D print Sheer Heart Attack, but the skull is Odie's face. So like that's like my dream curse cosplay. It's just a cosplay as Yoshikage Kira Arbuckle. That's how I'll call it.
That would be dope, man. I mean, Kira is my favorite villain too. It was the first JoJo villain I ever cosplayed as. It was Bites the Dust Kira, and that's why I was just like, "Where's my wig at?" But I can't. It's over there on my Samahada sword. But a couple things I want to piggyback off of before I ask you the final JoJo question. Okay. The first two things is everybody that's watching this interview, check out our interview with Joseph Joestar, not the young Joseph, but old Joseph, with Richard Epcar. It is up here on the YouTube, or you can listen to it on the podcast. And the character that I was talking about, the rock, paper, scissors kid, is Ken Oyanagi from Diamond is Unbreakable. And we interviewed Layla Berzins, who voices Ken. And you can check out her interview. It is up here on the channel, or you can listen to it on the podcast. So that was the first thing I wanted to say. The second thing I wanted to say is how you were talking about the tarot cards and how you have the same as Whole Horse. I had got a tarot card last year, and one of my friends, the Third Pharaoh, I got to plug everybody. The Third Pharaoh, you can check out his interview. It is up here on the channel. Really awesome cosplayer. So he had a bunch of tarot cards when he was a guest at a con, and he was just like, I made all of these, and they are all based off of JoJo. So he was just like, when's your birthday? And I was just like, it's January. And then he was just like, Banks, you're not gonna believe this. And I was just like, what? And he handed me the tarot card. It was Star Platinum, and I was just like, yo, because I cosplay as Jotaro, and Jotaro's birthday is Araki has never confirmed when Jotaro's birthday is, but Jotaro is an Aquarius, and his birthday is somewhere between the end of January and the start of February. So I was just like, perfect. I mean, Jotaro was the first anime cosplayer character I did, just like how he was the first not first anime character, but he was the second anime character cosplay I did, but he was the first JoJo anime character that I did. So that, I know I'm rambling. Then the last thing is, what is your favorite Hall & Oates song?
Ooh, favorite Hall & Oates, man. I have to say either Out of Touch or Private Eyes. Those are my top two.
Classics. For me, it's Man Eater and it's Out of Touch. You are out of touch. I'm out of time. Yeah, bro. I love him, man. I love him. So, final JoJo question before we get to the end of this interview is, if you had your own stand, what would your stand's name be, and what would the stand's ability be?
Oh my gosh. I remember I asked myself this question, and it has changed over the years and whatnot. I was like, oh, I think this would be cool, this and that. But I think the one right now that sticks out to me is my stand being called Hold the Line, which is a reference of Toto. Yeah, so holds the line. Basically almost summoning rope, kind of similar to Jolene's Spider Whip and Joseph Joestar's Hermit Purple. Yeah, where he can walls and stuff and almost create traps, or just pull himself to different navigations. Kind of like a lazy man's Hermit Purple, I feel like, but it doesn't have the cool quirks of using Haman with it. But that'll just be pretty much it. And I remember that was my first stand I thought of. I was like, oh yeah, Hold the Line, because me and my little brother will listen to that song all the time. It's a good song. GTA and Andreas. It's right, so that's good. What I was about to say. So,
I was literally about to say that. Yes, oh my god, yeah, that was the first time I ever heard the song, was in San Andreas. Oh man, that
Oh
is
yeah.
incredible. Look, man, we're connected. Stan users are drawn to each other. You know, we both cosplay Jotaro. We both love Hall and Oates. We both love Toto. And now we are here at the end of the interview. And like I said, the Great Turkey War is approaching us. And I gotta
Oh
ask
boy.
you these questions because I need to know if
Okay.
you are ready for the Great Turkey War. First question is, what is your favorite Thanksgiving dish of all time?
Ooh, I have to go with this cheddar check mac and cheese that
Mm.
my uncle makes. And so he has like cheddar check, and he also has it with of course, macaroni, which is from like some like recipe him and his family has had. And then this and that. He keeps it to himself. I've never got to know like what he puts in it, but he just makes this like bomb mac and cheese that is even better than Publix mac and cheese. Shout out Florida. But yeah, that's always my favorite dish every year that I look forward to on Thanksgiving.
Okay. All right. I mean, you can never go wrong with mac and cheese, man. So now I got to know, what is your least favorite dish on Thanksgiving?
Coleslaw.
What was that?
Coleslaw. I hate coleslaw.
And I've never had coleslaw on Thanksgiving. I feel
So
like,
bad.
yeah, I've never had, but I love asking this question because I know that everybody's Thanksgiving experience is different. Like, cause like, Thanksgiving is that time of year where it's just like, people, they bring different foods to the table. And
Yeah.
I've never gone to somebody's house, or I've never had Thanksgiving at my house where coleslaw was on the menu. But I can
Mm.
understand why it would be your least favorite. And it's
Yeah.
I don't know. It's not a Thanksgiving food in my opinion. I feel like you eat coleslaw if you're eating fish and whatnot. And I don't know
Yeah.
anybody that cooks fish for Thanksgiving either. So
Yeah, no.
yeah,
And
okay.
plus, it's just like for me because I'm a picky eater, and so there's like a few select things that I get from the mac and cheese as I mentioned, turkey, the little bread rolls and whatnot. But then I don't know why, I don't know how, but somehow coleslaw always ends up on the table. I'm like, who brought
Who
coleslaw
brought coleslaw?
to function?
We-
Yeah.
oh man.
So it's always been one of these. I tried it just to be like, I tried it, and I immediately knew I was going to hate it, and I
Yeah.
did. And it's just like just doesn't taste good. And whoever thought this idea just didn't have anything else in the fridge to cook. So
Hey. Well, look, if somebody brings coleslaw to the Great Turkey War, just pick it up, hand it back to them, and then when you walk away, you can say you fell for it. Killer Queen, activate. Boom. Oh my God. But yes,
that's cool.
we are here at the end of the interview. Thank you
All
so
right.
much for joining me up here on a brand new episode of Who's That Cosplayer. And before I let you go, let everybody in social media land know where they can find you at.
All right. So for starters, you guys can find all my cosplay content in particular here on Instagram at official Thirdcharm. And then I also do a couple of editing posts and voiceover stuff on my TikTok. Also under the same name, official Thirdcharm. Right now, my most popular video is the second part of the Leonard Skinner SpongeBob trilogy, where the Bag of Wind is just the Freebird guitar solo. So I recommend y'all seeing that. It's probably one of my proudest works that I made at like 1 a.m. on a Saturday last year. And it blew up this year because of another video of these three guys, making SpongeBob kits or recreating SpongeBob, moments and whatnot. And that moment in particular was the Bag of Wind. And then that traffic got to that video, and it's still getting likes to this day. And
That's
I'm
awesome.
like, wow, Eye of the Storm. And then and then one last thing before we do sign off, if you guys are a fan of Dungeons and Dragons, as you can see behind me, I also run a D&D/tabletop channel here on Instagram. We also have a YouTube under the same name of DM for Hire Incorporated, or on Instagram, DM for Hire _official. Because this Friday, believe it or not, will be the first episode of my series coming out. We'll be releasing it on YouTube, and the following week we'll be releasing it on Spotify and Buzzsprout and Google Podcasts and whatnot. So just check those out. You know, this project of mine has been one of the biggest ones that I ever tackle outside of cosplay and outside of, you know, other professional work projects that I've been involved in. But for this one in particular, I want people to check it out, especially if they're a fan of Dungeons and Dragons. And from there, you know, thank you again for having me on the show, and thank you to all the viewers that are watching this video right now. And like I said, you know, just have fun and keep on rolling.
Awesome. Hey, y'all make sure that y'all check out all of Luke's stuff. Follow all of his accounts on social media. And if you do love D&D, check that stuff out as well, because, you know, your boy is a tiefling rogue, and, you know, I love D&D. So with that being said, y'all already know where y'all can find your hero, Benjamin Banks, at KingBenji_Banks on TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram. You can find me on Facebook at Benjamin Banks. I should be the first person to pop up. If not, then I need to contact Mr. Zuckerberg. So with that being said, keep that pinky up, stay positive, prepare for the Great Turkey War, because it will be here soon. And like I always say, we'll see you next time on Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks. Peace.
Let's jam.
Thanks again, everybody, for watching another episode of Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks. Make sure you like, follow, subscribe to the channel. Podcast, we got that too. Make sure you give us a thumbs up and hit that bell for further episodes and notifications. Thanks a lot to our patrons. And if you don't mind, join the Patreon. We'll be having new specials coming up soon.